Welcome to the second Interstate 380 online public meeting. In the next few minutes, I will give you an update on progress we've made with the Interstate 380 planning study. If you missed the first meeting, you might want to stop and check out that online meeting video located here. The first video will provide you with information on the history, growth, and importance of the Interstate 380 corridor in Iowa, as well as why we are studying the corridor. Over the past several months, studies have progressed, and we're ready to share some initial findings. Today, we're going to learn about 3 technical studies for Interstate 380. First, we'll discuss existing conditions, or how the interstate operates today. Second, we'll cover our evaluation of alternative modes of transportation, like commuter rail and bus service. And finally, we'll look at impacts from weather-related events and how the DOT is planning to keep traffic moving. Interstate 380 is part of one of the fastest-growing corridors in Iowa, connecting Cedar Rapids and Iowa City. This corridor provides a vital link in a 7-county region that is home to nearly 500,000 residents and over 30 Fortune 500 companies. Over 24 communities in this area have seen considerable population and economic growth over the past 20 years. While community growth is good, it does present challenges to the transportation system. This corridor is experiencing increased traffic, more crashes, and added congestion. Interstate 380 was originally designed in the 1970s. Since then, a lot has changed. As part of our existing conditions study, we evaluated pavement and bridges, as well as the general alignment of the interstate. It's not surprising that both pavement and bridges are beginning to show their age, even though the interstate was recently resurfaced. Both bridges and pavement are nearing the end of their original design life. Interstate design standards have changed since the 1970s. If we were to construct Interstate 380 today, shoulders would be wider, drainage would be more efficient, and curves and hills would be more gradual. How traffic moves and the number of crashes are 2 primary ways we evaluate how well an interstate is operating. We measure traffic flow by giving roadways a level of service grade, just like getting a grade on a paper. For interstates, this grade is based on how many vehicles are on the road. We evaluated vehicle capacity on Interstate 380 and found that it is currently operating at a level of service C during peak periods like morning and evening rush hours. If improvements are not made, that level of service is anticipated to drop to a D by 2026. As the DOT plans for the near future, widening to 6 lanes will be needed. However, through a combination of infrastructure improvements and improving integrated corridor management techniques, the DOT can extend the time frame in which 8 lanes may be needed. Integrated corridor management, or ICM strategies, include encouraging drivers to shift trip departure times, routes, or modes of transportation. The DOT may also adjust the number of vehicles on the interstate by controlling access through ramp meters or adjusting traffic signal timings at interchange ramps. Compared to Iowa's average, most Interstate 380 segments fall below average in terms of the number of vehicle crashes. However, a couple of areas surpass the statewide average crash rate. High daily traffic volumes contribute to the total number of crashes and also the high number of rear-end crashes. Some improvements that could help lower crash rates include widening the interstate to 6 lanes and increasing merge lengths near ramps and rest areas. The next technical study for Interstate 380 covers alternative modes of transportation. Interstate 380 has been a key component of increased study and research around emerging transportation technology. Commuting options have been enhanced by formalized ride-sharing and van pooling services, as well as express bus service coming in 2018. We've also evaluated options for passenger rail connectivity in this region. The DOT evaluated long-term potential for a commuter rail or automated vehicle component and identified a potential long-term alternative passenger transportation vision for the Cedar Rapids and Iowa City Railway Corridor, or CRANDIC, between Iowa City and Cedar Rapids, two of the state's fastest-growing metropolitan areas. This important corridor intersects with universities and colleges, major employers, shopping destinations, recreation, and hospitals. In the short term, this transportation corridor should be preserved as a valuable community asset for the future. Continued study is needed to better understand feasibility and local preferences. In the long term, the CRANDIC corridor is an important asset that can enhance mobility, accessibility, reliability, efficiency, capacity, safety, and connectivity of the region's multimodal network, including Interstate 380. Alternative modes of transportation, like passenger rail and express bus systems, satisfy varying traveler needs. They can also help relieve congestion. Two alternative modes were evaluated as part of this study: commuter rail and next-generation articulated bus. Commuter rail service between Iowa City and North Liberty was evaluated as a potential option. Commuter rail systems have proven to be efficient, reliable, safe, accessible, and sustainable in all weather and operating environments. Second, implementation of an automated next-generation articulated bus was explored for use along the CRANDIC corridor as part of this planning study. As automated vehicles move from test corridors to public roadways, these vehicles will operate in a safety-first manner. Automated vehicles will reduce crashes, alleviate traffic backups, and improve travel times on congested roadways. We found that rideship potential in the long term is not large enough to serve as a replacement for widening Interstate 380 to 6 lanes in the short term. Implementing a potential parallel transit line in the long term will complement Interstate 380 widening rather than replace it. The third study of Interstate 380 assessed vulnerability and resiliency of the corridor. We know that weather events can cause significant delay and impact our ability to get where we need to go. This study has identified areas along Interstate 380 that are more vulnerable to significant weather events like flooding and snow. In response to future climate variability, the DOT will continue to use its existing monitoring program to help us understand how weather-related events disrupt the flow of traffic. Maintenance practices may be adjusted, and stormwater design standards will be reviewed and updated. At vulnerable locations, a risk analysis will define location-specific features, potential detours, and strategies to help keep traffic moving. Because of the close proximity of Interstate 80 to Interstate 380, should either need to be closed or traffic detoured, we will look for practical solutions to keep both roadways clear and traffic moving. We know that traffic is increasing. Future designs will accommodate projected traffic volumes in the year 2040. While we don't know for certain what future transportation needs and priorities will be, we do know that anything built in the near term will need to last for decades. We've certainly given you a lot to think about. Now it's your turn to tell us what you think. We look forward to learning more about how potential changes along Interstate 380 impact you. Also, if you would like to receive email updates, be sure to sign up through the Stay Connected icon. To learn more about the Interstate 380 Planning Study, you can review the materials provided on this site and ask questions or submit a comment on our comment form. In our next meeting, we'll report back on additional technical studies, ask for your input, and present recommendations made at the conclusion of the Interstate 380 Planning Study. Thanks for joining me today. See you next time.